First of all, thank you so much, Eric, for this opportunity. My name is Rajesh Setty. I'm an entrepreneur, writer, creator, and a teacher based in Silicon Valley. The only project that I'm actively involved as a startup is a company called Advisor, AUDVISOR. It's like micro podcasts for personal growth and professional growth.
Wonderful. And what is your secret to a good life?
After our call, I had a chance to think about it some more and some more. I'll encapsulate it in this sentence: grow while prioritizing self care in your inner world, to cultivate the wisdom and capacity to deeply care for people who matter most in your outer world.
Give that to me again.
Grow while prioritizing self care in your inner world, to cultivate the wisdom and capacity to deeply care for those that matter in your outer world.
And what is the experience that led you to that very specific insight?
The first thing was when one of my mentors in 2000, I think 2000 or 2001, gave me a book and said, "You should read this book." The book is called Fierce Conversations.
Who's it by?
It's by a person called Susan Scott. She's an amazing person. And he said, "You need to read it today." Said, "It's 300 pages." I said, "Yeah, you can take a day off and read it." And that changed my life completely. And I can summarize the entire 380-page book in two sentences. Shall I do it?
Please.
Given that, while there is no guarantee that any single conversation can change the trajectory of your life, career, business, or relationship, any single conversation can. What is the conversation that has your name on it? And from that day onwards, Eric, I am never half present to any conversation. I'm fully present out of sheer selfish reason. If this is that conversation that can change the trajectory of my life, career, business, or relationship, and I was half present to it, it will be a crime I'm coming against myself. And that changed everything. And 11 or 12 years later, I got diagnosed with Parkinson's. And that was an experience in itself because everything became slow. And as the disease progressed, I don't know why they call it progress, because there's no progress, there's only regress. As disease progressed, no, I became slower and slower and slower. And I said, now, why did God give this to me? That was the first thing I got. Then I said, I never asked, when God gave me good things, I never asked why God is giving me good things. I don't have the right to ask why God is giving me this thing that nobody should get it. But then I said, there is a reason God is giving me this. I will never know the reason, but if I don't make the full use of it, I will disappoint God. That's how I thought. And I said, what are things that slow people can do that fast people or normal people cannot do? And I observed one thing. Slow people have more time to see things more clearly, with higher fidelity, and more of it than fast people. If you observe your own life now, you will do 10 things at a time. You are doing that, you are busy and everything. For me, I have time. I have time to see more clearly, more with higher fidelity. And that changed another thing because I was always fully present. I thought God is giving me this to be even more present to what's happening around me. And I see more things than most people because I'm not in a hurry by design. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. Were you fast before the Parkinson's? Were you the type of person that was doing 10 things at once, as you said?
I was like a headless chicken, but only in a human form. I would always be running around. I'd have 16 meetings in a day. I would just be there. And I didn't know it was a problem until I know the difference now, Eric, that if you can more, see more clearly and see with higher fidelity, the world is a university and there's a world of possibilities. In the blur of things, we miss a lot of things.
What do you think that most people miss when they're being fast? What's one of the what's one of the top things that once you slowed everything down, you started to see the truth of it more than all of the people who were moving quickly?
First of all, they miss life. because they're so in such a hurry to get things done. There are things that are good to be efficient, but there are things that are good to be effective. Especially in relationships, you cannot be efficient, you have to be effective. And because I have time, I'm a good listener. And then I listen more, which means I can see in between lines, can read between lines what people are saying, what people are feeling, and everything.
I'm going to be painfully honest with you. I am very fast, very, very distractible, right? And one of my core values in life by design is presence. I have to consciously think, right? Here I am. You know what I mean? I feel the wind on my face. I feel the sweat on my fingers. I feel the weight of the clothing on my back. But it's a challenge. I have to consciously do it because me and my wife, frankly, both of us, we derive a great deal of our value from the volume of things that we do and the activity, just the constant level of activity. So for instance, over the vacation over the Thanksgiving holiday, our son was off school the whole week.
Mm.
And so that means that basically I'm off work for the whole week, right? Like I gotta be home with him. And because of the holiday, we had 2 or 3 days where our normal jujitsu class was canceled. We do jujitsu every single day, and it helps us get the jitters out. It helps us use that energy. And we missed like 2 days because of the holiday, and we were stressed and anxious, and we felt like we weren't getting enough done. We felt like we weren't fulfilling our purpose. We felt like we didn't have any value.
Mm.
And I don't want that anymore. This is a week ago that this was all happening for me. And the solution was to find more things to do, right? To replace that energy with something else. So I found myself like sitting at my computer and trying to get stuff done, but then I felt guilty that I wasn't playing with my kids. And then I wanted to take some time for myself, but then I didn't want to leave her home, and I want to make sure that I was able to show up as a parent, and on and on. You can see kind of where my mind was spinning. And so one of my exercises is that whenever I'm feeling anxious, I journal, and I've got a library of journals now from my life, from the time that I was 8 years old when I made my first journal entry. And so I was able to slow myself down. For somebody like me, who I'm painfully aware of my inadequacies and my tendency towards hyperactivity, who I know that I feel anxious when I'm not doing a lot of things. How do I snap myself out of that? How do I slow down and not stress out about not doing so many things? Does that question make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. For me, it's by design, but I'm so happy that God chose me for this I call it Parkinson's rather than Parkinson's. But otherwise, I would never have taken the time to just see the full life in full color. Because you cannot change it overnight. Any habit cannot be changed overnight. But my invitation to you is to do it in small blocks of time so that the body and the mind gets used to the new behavior. Like how you are painfully aware and then you force yourself to be present. You can extend it by few more minutes, and then you can, like in Atomic Habits, the person talks about habit stacking.
Right.
You can say that until I have my first coffee or tea or anything, from the time I wake up, I'll be fully present. And until that time, no, there's a reason I'm saying that something is non-negotiable. If drinking coffee or tea is not negotiable, then you attach the presence to before or after. Before will be good. For me, I do yoga every day. Now it's a slow yoga, but I do every day. But how I did it is 2007 I started, Eric. And then my teacher told me that her name is Namat. She's in Canada now. I asked her one question. Namath, if I want to continue to do this every single day, how many days should I do it? And then I immediately say, what a idiotic question it is. If I want to do it every day, I should do it every day. But she understood the question and she said, Raj, everybody says that to me, mostly nobody follows. And then everybody is a good wish, but there's no execution and implementation or follow through. And you tell a man something like that, you just rile up his, no, I will do it, I'll be the exception. And I told her, try me, give me an idea that somebody would have done it. I said, let's do one thing. Whatever you do in the next 6 months, you should do it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. But before you do yoga, you should have nothing in your stomach for the last 4 hours. Because you should not do it you should do it in empty stomach. That means if you're doing yoga in 4 p.m., 1 p.m. is the last time you can have something. You can have water, but nothing else. And then you will come up with excuses, Rajesh, that you are in the airport and all this. I don't really care. If you do it for 6 months, then it will become habit for life. And I took it as a challenge. And wherever I go, this was in 2007, if I'm traveling in the airport, I just put my yoga mat there and start doing yoga. And sometimes now it's very common, but at that time, many people would say, what are you doing? And then I would just say, this yoga and all those things, I would just, because I made a promise to the teacher and I will keep it. And after 6 months, I wanted to do only once a day. And it looks like a breeze. Basically, I just think it's nothing. And then since until 2022, when my body could not move, I skipped only 2 days. I never skipped. After I got brain surgery, I have not skipped a single day. Since I would say from March of 2023 to now, I have not skipped a single day. Because my role is that I will not eat anything until I do yoga. And at some point, I will be hungry. I cannot stay there. But I made a promise, the habit stacking. I stacked it to something that's non-negotiable.
The trigger, the anchor, you found something that is anatomically required and you tied your habit to that requirement, that non-negotiable in your life.
Exactly. In your case, I know you are fully present now. You can extend it and say that before 1 hour before recording the podcast, I'll be fully present to whatever I am doing. And then if 1 hour comes, you can make it look like there's another alarm.
But if you could see all the tabs on my computer, Vajesh, there's just so many things for me to get distracted by. So, for instance, right now, I'm on a computer, I'm looking at you, and I see across the top of my Google Chrome the guest that I had earlier today. I have his LinkedIn is open over here. I have a Canva template. I have Seamless open. I have a website that I was doing some research on. I have a calendar that I'm supposed to book on. And I find myself swiping back and forth between tasks and I'll get distracted and I'll get lost. How can you be more present in the face of a basically like I have these 30-minute periods of time that are blocked out for completing tasks, for getting the things done that are going to get me to my goals. And throughout the day, I'm picking up little things that people are sharing with me, right? Oh, check out this website. Oh, check out this thing. And I open it up and then I leave it there for later. I will often create a task to like, hey, review this and do something with it. How can I keep present in the face of all of these, we'll call them adjacently meaningful activities, right? These little tiny distractions along the way. How can I stay fully present when I have so many things that are distracting me?
See, first of all, half the problem is solved because you are aware of it. Now you have to see, now that you are aware of it, why is it that you don't want to do it? Dan O'Reilly wrote a book called The Payoff. There is some payoff that you are getting by not being present. You have to think very carefully, what is that you are getting out of not doing what you want to do? There's something there. It's your sense of accomplishment. You need to busy and productive. Your identity is defined by how you are today. And I always think about if you want to truly change the habits, You have to change an upgrade of your being, not doing. Let's say I'm going to be in a silence retreat for first 5, 6 days, sometime in the January and February beginning. At that time, everything is off. No devices, nothing. No clocks either. And first time I did it 6 years ago, I thought world will end. Because what happens? I'm not there. Nobody can reach me. I don't even know the time. The world did not end. The world continues to be there. And after that, I did it 2 more times, and by that time, I was fully used to it. And if you think about it, after this podcast, Eric, you say next 3 hours, I'll not I'll have only one tab open just for the fun of it. And you will see that you will get through 3 hours without causing any major damage. Just that we are got used to it. The inertia of doing what we are doing is so strong that there is no way unless we do cold turkey kind of things, right? Basically, you force yourself for short bursts of time, and then then the muscle memory will build up. See, for me, it was by design. For you, you have to force it.
Rajesh, I do not want Parkinson's. I'll be honest with you about that.
No, I don't wish it on. I don't have any enemies, but even if I had, I would not wish it on them.
And I do feel a responsibility to be more. Obviously, I added it to my list of values, and because I know that I'm a better person when I am more present, and so I so appreciate the insights that you've given me today, and I commit to you that I will be more present, and I'm going to try the one tab open presence. I'm just going to focus on one thing.
Short period of time, Eric.
Just 1 hour, yeah. I might even only do a half hour just because I'm that broken.
Ichigo Ichi is a Japanese word, Japanese phrase that means that this moment will never happen again. You have to give the respect, maximum appreciation for the current moment is what the Japanese follow. And after that, the first one is fierce conversation. Second one is Ichigo Ichi. You think about it, you are 100% present now. But if you can do it now, you can do it for later also. It's a choice. This moment can never be recreated. In India, they call it you can't step into the same river twice, in my language. So basically, this moment, how much ever appreciation you can do is up to you. There's no limit to appreciating the current moment. Just like there's no upper limit to happiness, isn't it? And once you start seeing life in full color, you never want to go back again.
Rajesh, where can everyone find you?
I'll say if they want the Napkin Sites book, then they can find at napkinsites.com or they can find me on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been the Pulse Ox podcast. Please, if you found this episode valuable, give us a like on Spotify and share it with a friend.